Emmerdale stunned viewers tonight with a major twist as Moira Dingle decided to sell the farm to Kim Tate, a move many believed would never occur. After dealing with Cain's cancer diagnosis, her time in prison, and the pressure from Joe Tate's blackmail, Moira finally gave in. However, she chose not to tell Cain herself, and the news was instead revealed by a smug Joe Tate. Now the big questions remain. What will happen next? How will Cain respond to the revelation? Who will ultimately run the farm, and what lies ahead for the Dingle family? Kim made it clear to Joe that she was unhappy he continued to interfere with the Dingles, despite her instructions to stay away. Joe tried to portray himself as the victim after being attacked by Cain, but Kim showed little sympathy. Attempting to boost his pride, Joe asked Lydia to open a bottle of champagne. Instead, Lydia refused and told him exactly what she thought of the idea, which amused Kim. Kim kept quiet about her plans and secretly visited Moira while she was in prison. During their meeting, Moira explained she was tired of the ongoing conflict and said it was time to stop playing games and let the adults resolve the situation. She then surprised Kim by offering to sell her share of the farm. Kim was shocked that Moira was prepared to give up so easily and questioned why she had stopped fighting for it. When Moira stayed silent, Kim declined the offer unless she explained the real reason. Eventually, Moira revealed that Cain had cancer. Moira became emotional as she admitted how difficult the situation was and said she hadn't even discussed it with her husband yet. Kim responded with sympathy, saying she respected Moira for putting her family first. The two women then agreed to the deal. Kim also promised that Moira would always be able to visit Holly's grave. Later, Joe was celebrating proudly at home, but Kim quickly humbled him by revealing Cain's cancer diagnosis. Joe realized that was the reason Graham had chosen to support Cain rather than him. Despite this, Joe still wanted to celebrate, leaving others feeling uncomfortable. Few people expected Moira to ever surrender like this, which raises several important questions. Robert Sugden was promised the role of tenant farmer by Joe when he sold his share of the farm to the Tates. The question now is whether Robert will accept the offer. Alternatively, Kim could ignore Joe's plan and offer the tenancy back to Moira and Cain instead. Even if she does, it remains uncertain whether they would agree to it. This is perhaps the biggest question. At the end of tonight's episode, Cain insisted to Joe that the farm would never be sold. He even told Aaron that the Tates would only take the farm over his dead body. With that in mind, how will he handle the truth? Will he eventually understand that this might be the best decision for everyone, or will he react angrily and create chaos? Could he somehow stop the sale from happening? The farm is not just land. It is also the home of Cain and Moira. If they have to leave, they will need somewhere else to stay. Wishingwell Cottage, where the Dingles currently live, is already crowded, although the family is known for always making space for one more. Another possibility is that Chas could offer them a place at the pub. Seeing Cain working behind the bar at the Woolpack might even become a reality. If Robert ends up running the farm, Aaron may once again find himself caught between his partner and his family. The Dingles might try to understand his reasons, but it could also lead to serious conflict. And when the family discovers that Robert not only gained control of Moira's farm, but also played a role in framing her earlier, it could trigger an explosive reaction. Kim and Moira confront one another in prison during an Emmerdale ITVX episode, leaving viewers shocked by the result. A dramatic moment unfolds in tonight's Emmerdale as Moira Dingle meets Kim Tate face-to-face while behind bars. Fans who have already watched the episode on ITVX say the outcome of their encounter is completely unexpected. Moira asks Kim to visit her in the prison's visiting area, setting up a tense meeting between two determined and strong personalities. Meanwhile, Joe Tate has spent weeks secretly working against the Dingle family in his attempt to gain control of Butler's farm. He has already forced Robert and Victoria to sell their portion through blackmail and is now putting similar pressure on Cain. Cain finds himself trapped after stealing Joe's car and being recorded on camera, leaving him with very few options to escape the situation. During tonight's episode, Kim confronts Joe about targeting the Dingles once again. Joe argues that he is the one being treated unfairly. Kim is not impressed and reminds him he should have spoken to her before acting on his own. Joe clearly feels that his efforts are not appreciated, but Kim bluntly tells him that his feelings are not her problem. Later on, Kim visits the prison to see Moira. Moira quickly gets straight to the point and says they should stop playing games and allow the adults to resolve the matter properly. For those planning to watch the episode during its television broadcast tonight, the exact details of what follows will not be revealed. However, viewers who have already streamed it say the outcome of the conversation is truly surprising. Well, I definitely didn't see that coming, one fan commented on social media. Another viewer admitted they did not fully trust the result, while someone else said they were eager to find out what happens next. The storyline arrives only a few days after a poll conducted by Emmerdale Insider showed just how strongly viewers feel about Butler's farm. An overwhelming 83% of voters said that Moira should never sell the farm to the Tates under any circumstances. Some comments included, "No way, don't sell the farm, keep fighting them," and "drive a tractor through manure and splash Joe with it, that would be hilarious." Emmerdale needs a happy ending for that family, one viewer wrote. A few fans suggested that selling the farm could still be considered, but not to the Tates. Some ideas included Caleb buying it to support the family, Graham taking ownership, or giving it back to Robert so the land could once again be farmed under the Sugden name. No matter what happens after the dramatic meeting between Kim and Moira, it is clear that the struggle for Butler's farm is far from finished and could significantly affect the future of farming in the village. Jacob already has plenty on his plate in the village. He is working hard to train as a doctor, preparing to become a father, and dealing with a wife who has resorted to stealing cars in order to help her struggling grandfather survive financially. On top of all that stress, he also has to deal with a nightmare boss, making his situation even more overwhelming. Dr. Todd had been supervising his medical placement around the time his mother Layla died. Things became even worse when Jacob accidentally informed Moira Dingle that his daughter had died due to a case of mistaken identity. Now that the mentorship has begun, Dr. Todd's harsh behavior has only become worse. The latest blow for Jacob comes when he receives her written feedback after observing his work, and the comments are so brutal that he finds them extremely difficult to cope with. Emmerdale typically airs on ITV on weeknights at 8 p.m, with episodes available earlier on ITVX from 7 a.m.